It's something that has become synonymous with Chicago, violence.
Chicago, the murder capital of America.
9 people had been killed and another 53 wounded in gun violence over the holiday weekend.
Chicago's gun violence came roaring back this weekend, killing 4 people, including an 11-year-old girl.
Lately, many stations in Chicago, including WLS-TV, have led many of its newscasts with shootings that take place on a fairly regular basis. Stations often classify many weekends in the city as violent weekends. But Chicago police are now out with new statistics that say the first 7 months of this year has seen the lowest number of murders since 1963, with 214 killed since January. WBBM reporter Jim Williams published a recent story putting some blame on the media for countless reports on crime stories, citing data that shows the number of murders across the city has gone down from 930 in 1994 to 414 in 2013. A local criminologist also made the point the amount of media coverage today, as you know, is substantially greater than it was 20 years ago. But if the numbers are historically low, why are outlets reporting on crime so much? Just a few days after Williams' report, another reporter at WBBM asked Lollapalooza attendees whether they were worried about violence at the popular Chicago Music Festival that wraps up Sunday.
Did you think twice about violence in Chicago before you came here this year?
Not at all. Not at all.
It's a beautiful city. Every city's got their drama and their politics.
Despite the lower number of reported murders and violent crimes in Chicago, some city leaders aren't buying it.
Some local aldermen claim the city's top cop is manipulating statistics.
Oh yeah, crime is down. Well, crime is down compared to what? We have just seen the worst month of shootings in this city.
Earlier this year, Chicago Magazine published a 2-part special report which many outlets have cited, saying many police sources say they have been pressured by superiors, explicitly and implicitly, to underreport crime. The department has quietly changed several bedrock crime reporting and scoring policies. The Chicago Tribune quoted Police Superintendent Gary McCarthy, who defended the statistics in a hearing Friday by blaming the media. 20 years ago, every single shooting, every single murder was not reported by social media or the press in general, and there's no context to those reports. Still, the FBI has designated Chicago as the so-called murder capital of the U.S., which some critics say can be misinterpreted. Chicago had more murders than any other city in 2013, but when you consider Chicago's population of about 2.7 million people, you get an entirely different picture. Chicago Business points out that when the murder rate is adjusted for population, it was significantly lower than other major cities, including Baltimore, New Orleans, and Newark. It also had a much lower violent crime rate than cities including Detroit, St. Louis, Atlanta, and Indianapolis. Chicago Magazine, which published the report saying police were misreporting crimes, even called the designation of murder capital inaccurate. For Newsy, I'm Jamal Andrus.